The entry list dropped. One name vanished. No warning. No explanation. Kyle Larson, the driver who just dominated the number 88 JR Motorsports Chevrolet. Back-to-back wins. Untouchable momentum. Yet, at Pocono Raceway, his name simply wasn't there. Within minutes, the speculation ignited. Injury rumors. Contract disputes. A secret falling out behind closed doors at Hendrick Motorsports. The internet moved fast. Almost all of it was wrong, because what fans didn't see was the real story hiding in plain sight. This wasn't about drama. It was about one of the most unusual roster experiments in modern NASCAR history. And it quietly reveals a hard truth about where this sport is heading in 2026. To understand why Larson wasn't at Pocono, we have to go back to the exact moment this unprecedented plan was born. When Connor Zilisch made the jump to the NASCAR Cup Series with Trackhouse Racing, he left a massive vacancy in the number 88. 10 wins. A championship-caliber machine, built entirely around a driver who was suddenly gone. JR Motorsports had a choice. Hand the keys to one replacement. Play it safe. Instead, they did something nobody expected. They split the seat 5 ways. Rajah Caruth would run 23 of the 33 scheduled races. The remaining 10 starts would rotate between 4 active Cup Series stars. Kyle Larson and William Byron would each take 3. Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott would each take 2. Kellinghard Miller, CEO of JR Motorsports, didn't mince words. He called it a direct path to an owner's championship. A strategic business move, not a publicity stunt. Made possible only by the deep, long-standing relationship between JRM and Hendrick Motorsports. But here's where the timeline gets complicated. And it's the exact reason the Pocono entry list caused such an uproar. Larson's performance in the number 88 wasn't just good. It was historic. And that's exactly why fans felt blindsided. At Las Vegas Motor Speedway, he won wire-to-wire. At Texas Motor Speedway, he won again. Back-to-back victories in a second-tier car, while simultaneously battling for a Cup Series championship. At Bristol, he finished second. Then came the unscheduled flexes. When Alex Bowman was sidelined at Darlington with vertigo, Larson stepped in. Finished 4th. 2 weekends before Pocono, Bowman returned to Cup duty, but Larson climbed back into the number 88 at Nashville anyway. Finished 8th. 5 starts. 2 wins. Every single finish inside the top 10. There wasn't a driver on earth who looked better in that car. So when Pocono arrived, the natural question was unavoidable. Why pull him now? What almost every headline missed was a simple, rigid truth buried in the original schedule. Larson's 3 contracted starts, Las Vegas, Bristol, Texas, were already completed before Nashville even happened. Nashville was an unplanned addition. Pocono was never his to run. It was locked in for William Byron from day one. The headline claiming Larson was replaced was technically accurate and completely misleading. He was never scheduled for that seat. The rotation didn't fail. It executed exactly as designed. The calendar simply won. And it proves a critical point. An entry list alone never tells the full story. But don't mistake the rotation for a consolation plan. William Byron isn't a placeholder. He's a proven champion. The 2017 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series champion. A 2-time Daytona 500 winner. He finished 3rd at Pocono in 2024. He's run the number 88 twice this season, securing a 13th at Phoenix and a 6th at Kansas. He knows crew chief Marty Lindley. He knows the machinery. Byron himself broke down the challenge perfectly. He called Pocono a track that keeps you on your toes. 3 completely different corners. A constant battle for balance. Carrying speed without destroying tires. He wasn't stepping into a backup role. He was walking into a winning ecosystem. Zilisch had 2 wins in the number 1. Chaston took victory lane at Charlotte in the number 9. Larson had 2 wins in the number 88. Byron was handed a car built to contend. Yet while fans argued over who should drive the number 88, the real casualty of this entire experiment was quietly slipping through the cracks. And it wasn't Larson. It wasn't Byron. It was the young driver this rotation was supposedly built to elevate. Rajah Caruth sits 13th in points heading into Pocono, just 12 points outside the playoff cut line. The highest-ranked driver currently on the outside looking in. But every time a Cup star climbs into the number 88, Caruth gets shuffled to Jordan Anderson Racing's number 32. Different chassis, different crew, different systems, constant recalibration. He cannot build rhythm. He cannot settle. He cannot grow when the foundation keeps shifting beneath him. The fan concern isn't just noise. It's a legitimate developmental crisis. A young driver chasing a championship needs consistency, not constant reshuffling. But here's the twist nobody is talking about. The very model designed to help him might be the only reason he still has a shot. The number 88 sits second in owner points. If Caruth makes the 12-driver playoff field, he inherits that championship-caliber machinery for the entire 9-race chase. Crew chief Marty Lindley made the priority clear. The goal isn't just to survive the Cup driver stints. The bigger goal is to get Rajah into victory lane. Caruth hasn't backed down. He stated plainly that there's no reason he can't compete for the championship. He believes in the team. He believes in himself. But belief doesn't fix a broken rhythm. And the clock is ticking. Chase Elliott still holds 2 scheduled starts. Chicagoland on July 4th. Indianapolis on July 25th. After that, the number 88 belongs to Caruth permanently. Starting at Iowa in August, he gets his chance to run straight through the chase. But will the points gap hold? Will the momentum survive the reshuffling? At Pocono, the track answered with brutal clarity. Qualifying was chaos. The tricky triangle punished mistakes. Brandon Jones took pole, putting Joe Gibbs Racing on the front row with Taylor Gray. Byron and Zilish locked in as immediate threats. The race delivered exactly what Pocono promises. Record-led changes, record cautions, a relentless, high-stakes battle. When the checkered flag finally fell, Justin Allgaier claimed his long-awaited Pocono victory. He held off the young guns. He held off the Cup firepower. Brent Cruz made a late charge to steal second from Byron. Strong finishes came through for Anthony Alfredo and Rajah Caruth. Dale Earnhardt Jr. watched from the garage. Allgaier proved once again why he's the standard. He isn't letting go of the top spot without a fight. But the real question isn't who won at Pocono. It's what this entire 2026 experiment means for the future of NASCAR's developmental ladder. JR Motorsports built something unprecedented. Elite Cup talent cycling through a second-tier seat. It creates must-watch racing. It generates headlines. It produces wins. However, it also creates a scenario where the hottest driver in the building sits out a race simply because the calendar says so. And it leaves a developmental driver constantly fighting to find his footing. Does this model elevate the sport by raising the competitive ceiling? Or does it quietly cap the exact drivers it claims to be building? The answer won't come from an entry list. It will come from the second half of this season. Can Caruth lock into the number 88 after Indianapolis and finally build the rhythm he desperately needs? Will the owner points stay high enough to matter in the chase? Will other teams copy this blueprint, or will 2026 become a cautionary tale? Larson wasn't replaced. He was never scheduled. Byron wasn't a backup. He was always the plan. Allgaier won, proving once again that consistency still wins in this series. And the real story was Rajah Caruth all along. His chapter isn't over. It's just entering its most critical phase. If this breakdown gave you a clearer picture of what's actually happening behind the scenes of the number 88, it would mean everything if you hit that like button and subscribed. This channel is brand new, and we're pushing hard toward 2,000 subscribers. Every single subscription directly fuels more deep dive coverage like this, cutting through the noise to bring you the real stories. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the JRM rotation model is a brilliant way to elevate NASCAR? Or does it quietly hurt developmental drivers like Rajah Caruth by denying them consistency? Drop your honest take in the comments. Both sides of this debate matter, and I'll be reading every single one.